Welcome, everybody, back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. This is the Ignite Chapter 4 review show from the show Ignite put on this past weekend at Shenley Road in Boreham Wood. And what a start to 2025 it was. You only got to look at the ticket sales for the next show, which we'll get to in a minute, to show just how good the show was. So, remembering just running sort of down some of the big matches on the card, of course, Tate Mayfair's debuts at Ignite against Tommy Kyle for the Ignite Heavyweight Championship. We had a big number one contenders championship for our title as a Luna. Took on Harrison Bennett, took on Shane Hook in a triple threat match. There was also the return of the breakout division to Ignite, a division I know they feel very strongly about, which saw Leland Bryant take on Arthur Scurro, take on Kian Cameron. And of course, Truman Roswell was going to confront CJ Carr. More on that and a huge surprise in a minute. But first, let's get straight to the action. Now, the opening contest on Chapter 4 was Taylor James and Tom Mercer against the Bryants. Now, if you guys remember, if you've looked at the preview show, we've cast our sort of mind back on the story. Taylor James last July wins the Call Your Shot briefcase to get an opportunity at the Ignite Championship or the Turnbuckle Championship at any point in time. He has then since used his mercenary, Tom Mercer, and the briefcase to win matches, so much so that an already annoyed CJ Carter at the last show, more on that in a bit, then made the match for Chapter 4 with the Bryants against Taylor and Tom, with the stipulation that if Taylor and Tom lost that match, the member of the Bryant who picks up the victory would indeed have control of the briefcase, and Taylor would ultimately lose that shot that he has worked forever to get. It's been his obsession ever since he'd come into Ignite to have that opportunity. The match itself was a really good tag match. I really enjoyed it. The Bryants, new theme for the Bryants. It was no limit by 2 Unlimited. Got the crowd pumping. They were working really well as a cohesive tag team. Lots of quick tags, lots of, high flying Bryant stuff that you'd become accustomed to. Now, Taylor and Tom, on the other hand, although they are a team, they're not they're not a tag team. They're generally two singles together. So, having said that, they done some really cool tag team moves of their own during this. So there was quite a surprise. And one of the things that also surprised me about Tom is for his height. He's close to probably pushing 7 foot. He can move. He's a quick old boy at the same time. So these two put on a really, really good, solid opening contest. My only criticism about it is I don't think enough emphasis was put on the briefcase and the thing, and that was the whole point. So we didn't get an announcement again to say Taylor's briefcase was on the line, or albeit referee Nick Cooper did indeed do what you'd normally do to a championship and pass it around and hold it up. But there wasn't enough emphasis, in my opinion, put on that championship, put on the fact that that was on the line. And I felt as if a little bit like there wasn't enough desperation from Taylor in some parts of the match where this match could have been over to get the kick out or to break up a pin or to stop something from happening. This is something that he's worked so hard for. And that's been his destiny ever since he's come to Ignite. He wants the title and everything, that kind of that kind of thing that he was doing, that he wanted this championship. It was his destiny. It was everything that he's fought for since coming in. He has got it. And I just felt that in some parts of this, there could have been a bit more like, oh my God, I'm going to lose it. I need to bang, a bit more of that. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean to say that the tag match wasn't any good. Like I said, it was a real solid opening contest. Crowd loved the Bryants. Crowd hates Taylor and Tom. But a humongous double choke slam from Tom Mercer and a fidget spinner from Taylor gets the job done. And Taylor James and Tom Mercer pick up the victory and also keep that briefcase. And, Taylor, I don't mean to, spoil stuff for you, but time is ticking for your championship opportunity. You know, July is not far away. I know we're in February, but that's only 2 shows away. You're gonna have to think about cashing it in, boy. Whether or not he cashes it in later on the show, we'll tell you. But at the moment, as it stands, he's got the briefcase, but it's a little bit of a time is ticking away, my friend. You need to start getting a shifty on. Maybe you do it later on in this show, but we will see. A solid opener from Ignite. And the next match on the list was the breakout match. The breakout division returns. Something that CJ Carter and the team at Ignite are so passionate about, to unearth those new hidden gem talents around the scene. And 3 of those hidden gem talents were in action right now. Now, Leland Bryant, obviously the brother of Xander and Nino. He was there. I mean, he's obviously, listen, he's been at Rev Pro now. He's done a lot of stuff at Rev Pro before he got this opportunity. Fair play to him. But it was the first time that the fans at Bournemouth got to see him in action as part of the breakout division. Arthur Scurro, another one of the 3 here. He was at Ignite. He had a match against his brother, Chris Aries, who he beat by DQ, but we wanted to get a better look at him. CJ wanted to get a better look at him and gave him this opportunity to, showcase his talents in this particular match. And finally, Kian Cameron, who's one of the exciting youngsters. He's coming up on Independent Showcase in a few weeks on this channel. We have a chat with him. He wants to showcase his talents at Ignite. He's done it at WrestleForce. He's been around Prodigy Pro Wrestling and a couple of other places. Really exciting to see. And this match was a fun, solid triple threat match. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of excitement into it. You had the speed and quickness of Xander and Kian in this. They were kind of double teaming Scurro to a point. I mean, Scurro's got the size and the power factor. So what they were trying to do is eliminate that so they could have their own match and kind of maybe get the winner that way. So they were booting Scurro out of the ring and they were doing some double team moves. Every time Scurro was getting momentum and the momentum was building for him, they would do a double team move and he would be out of here. And he was getting visibly frustrated as much as this match went on. He was, he weren't a happy pirate, so to speak. But ultimately, it would be Xander and Kian that were wrestling the majority of this match until the very end. When Scurro come back, he hits a lot of power offense. Huge end of days hit on Xander Bryant. But what he didn't realize was the man climbing up the top. Kian Cameron hits a big 450 splash to pick up the victory and advance to the finals in November of the breakout division. So congratulations to Kian Cameron on that one. As I say, it was an exciting, fun match. Lots of high flying stuff, which the fans here at Shenley Road did enjoy. But when the power moves was hit from Scurro, you could feel him. Put it that way. But that wasn't the end of proceedings. Scurro and Kian. So Scurro's kind of a bit embarrassed at this point because he's kind of been done here. He had the match won, the 450, took his eye off the ball. But he wanted to give Kian Cameron a handshake. That was what, to sort of say, well done, you got me. And as he's given him the handshake, he has hit the end of days, the walk, the plank, whatever he wants to call it, and dropped Kian Cameron in the middle of the ring and has left the building at that point, or left the arena at that point. Scurro, not a happy pirate, and taking it out on Kian Cameron, where if there are any ramifications from this, we may find out come what may, literally, as that's when the next show is. I'm not sure if CJ Carter's got anything planned for that, but Kian Cameron advances to the next round, or the finals, of the breakout division. And another breakout match, and it could well be another triple threat match, is coming in May. Don't know who the participants are yet, but I'm assuming after a great kickoff with a triple threat match, that the triple threat matches will keep on rolling for the breakout division. Oh boy. Right, Truman Roswell, Esquire, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist, whatever you want to call him. He come out next as we were getting ready to have one more match before the break. He come out and demanded his time, and he wanted CJ Carter out on that ring with him. And ask and you shall receive. This is what Ignite's all about, Truman. You asked the question, you asked for CJ Carter, you got him. And Truman was berating CJ ever since day one that he got here. CJ's been the one that's held him back, that's held him down, and it's him that why Truman. He's won matches, but he's got nowhere. And he's blamed everything on CJ Carter. And the other thing that he blamed on CJ was, of course, the fact that he lost the last match at Curtain Call. There was no referee at the point of this match. It was a no DQ match. He had hit Nick over the head with a steel chair. And ultimately, what happened was Nino had the match won. CJ Carter come down and counted the three. And ever since then, obviously, Truman's had it in for him before then. And that just engulfed and enlightened the flame even more for this. And Truman was basically, well, he wanted CJ in a match. Now, for those of you that know full well, CJ Carter has been retired for 2 years. He is unable to physically compete, much, I would say, to the annoyance of actually CJ Carter himself. Because if there's anyone that wanted to kick Truman's head in, it was him. There was probably no one else there that wanted to do it more. Well, maybe nobody else there more that wanted to do that than CJ. And as CJ even said, if I could, I would love nothing more than to go there and whoop your ass in that ring. However, Truman was dressed to compete. CJ had noticed that Truman was dressed to compete and said, well, you look like you're ready for a match. I can't wrestle you, but I brought along somebody that can. And with that, the return of Ignite Wrestle Pro of the longest reigning heavyweight champion, Corey McRae. The roof blew off Shenley Road. Corey McRae is certainly bulked up. He looked in tremendous physical shape as he come out. The crowd went ballistic. Truman went as white as a sheet in that ring. He looked like he had seen a ghost. And coincidentally, Nick Cooper was there. I mean, I don't know. Did someone tip him off? Who knows? But Corey gets in that ring, and Truman is still, he is berating Nick Cooper. Don't ring the bell. Don't ring the bell. Don't ring the bell. So CJ is like, ring the bell. The bell goes off. Truman turns around into a kick, black mass kick. Corey drops him on his head with some new finisher that he's got. Wasn't the package power driver, much to my chagrin. I'd have loved to have seen that on Truman, drop him on his head. But he did drop him in a finish and got the free count. It was pretty much over as quick as you could sip a coffee. Corey McRae back with a bang, back with a win, and seemingly has returned to Ignite. Was that a one-shot thing? We don't know yet. But from the sounds of it and the fact that Chris was saying he's back, seemingly Corey McRae is back on Ignite. And if he is back at Ignite, he has just sent warning signs to everybody on that roster that Corey McRae is back. And we have missed him, and we're so happy to have him back. It was an interview at this point. I do want to shout out, actually, here, Harrison Leon at this point. Now, Harrison, a lot of people know the Big Boy Baller, was working Ignite's social media platform during the day. He done an awesome job of little video snippets, little bits and pieces that were going on throughout the day. And if you watch WWE and you see it where, they show you the wrestlers arriving and things like that, he was doing stuff like, go and check it out. I think it's still available on the Ignite social pages. Go and check out the job that he done. And then before the matches, when they're warming up, he's taking little videos and he's posting them. Again, a lot like you see on the AEW's, WWE's. Harrison was doing that. What a fantastic job he done this weekend. It was fantastic, and we need that every time, Harrison, if you're available. I mean, obviously would love you in the ring to compete for Ignite, but if you can't compete for please come and do the socials. It was a tremendous job. Just had to shout him out because I didn't want to leave him out of a great job that he done on the show. As we get back from the break, it's our turn. Hitting the turnbuckle. Number 1 contenders match for our championship. Again, for the story purposes, those of you that don't know, Mark True refused to show up at this show. He was upset at his treatment. He feels as if we've been stacking the deck against him by making him defend the titles in triple threat matches, fatal four-ways, tag matches. He's not a happy bunny. So he took his title and he went home, or in this case, took his title, went to Japan and started wrestling for Noah. So just for, again, full disclosure, if he doesn't show up in May, he will be stripped of the Turnbuckle Championship. So he's got a choice. We're not going to beg and plead him anymore. Show up in May or you're stripped. Simple as that. But so we had a number one contenders match for the right to face Mark. I believe that's going to be in May. We're waiting for official confirmation from CJ Carter. But it was Aluna versus the debut in Harrison Bennett. What you saying? And the debut in Shane Hook. And this isn't me being biased. Near enough everyone I've spoken to, barring a few people, said this was match of the night. It was an amazing triple threat match, and those I'd never seen Shane or Harrison before. Well, I tell you a lie, I had seen Shane or Harrison before, but not live. I'd watched obviously YouTube stuff because obviously to get an opportunity and for us to select them, we have to like what we see and we have to want to bring them in. So I've seen them on YouTube, but I'd never watched them live before, and it was what a match this was. I mean, it was on the outside for a long periods of the time. They were taking out a Luna in this match, and they were wanting to. Again, it was a bit like the triple threat match we had earlier, where Scurro was the one being taken out, so the other two could wrestle in. This was it going exactly the same route. Luna was again, she was getting frustrated, and we want to see that aggressive side because the aggressive side of a Luna is what gave her the victories over Sapphire Reed and Chantel Jordan at the back end of last year. And again, another kind of match of the night contender with her and Sapphire Reed on that particular show. So Luna was getting more frustrated. So then they had this chopping contest. They had got bits where Harrison was trying to chop Luna, and she moved out the way, and he hit his hand on the ring post. And then Shane Hook tried to chop Harrison. He moved out the way, and he hit his hand on the ring post. They were doing all of that. There was some amazing action in the ring as well. In this, an incredible triple threat match. And again, like I said, most people's match of the night, and it justifies the selections that we made during this show or during the winter breaks to get these two guys in. Ultimately, it was a Luna that picks up the victory with a big DDT, and she goes on to face, hopefully, Mark True. Now, if Mark isn't there, we will strip him, and then Luna will have another match. It will be one-on-one, Mark. This will be one-on-one. It's it's what you want. It's one-on-one for you. So your opportunity is there. So it's not going to be against you. The only thing you're going to have against you is the crowd, and we can't control the crowd, Mark. So it's one-on-one. You and a Luna, come what may. If you choose not to show up, you will indeed be stripped, and we'll have a championship match with a Luna and somebody else. So there we go. But congratulations to a Luna. Is it her time? Is she finally going to win a title in May? The only way you can find out is by coming to the show on May 18th. Tickets are already on sale. We'll get into that in a minute. After that, we had another great contest. I called this a sprint because it wasn't particularly long, but it was a great sprint between Chris Aries and Smashing Mike. Now, again, story has been told. These two guys were both champions this time last year. They were the Ignite champion and the Turnbuckle championship, respectively. Both lost their championships in July to Tommy Kyle and to Mark True. And ever since then, they've kind of been on a bit of a lull in defeats and disqualifications and everything else. So it was important for Smashing Mike and Chris Aries. One of them was going to come out of this victorious and gain that momentum. The other one was still going to be lacking in the wins department. But this was a fun sprint. Lots of power moves on show. Mike is definitely, you can tell the improvement factor in Mike from where he was even when he won the Turnbuckle title. And I think that's what winning the Turnbuckle title has done from him, and the caliber of opponents that we've given him has made him realize different ways to wrestle and bits and pieces. Like he's still got the charisma. He still don't do bum weight. He still don't get tired. But he just wrestles in such a great way now. And him and Chris just had this great chemistry, Chris Aries. Just had this great chemistry in there. And Chris definitely felt as if he had a point to prove in this match. And this wasn't without some shenanigans from Chris Aries, but he did end up getting the job done over Mike on this occasion. Got a feeling it isn't over between these two, but a real fun sprint, a really enjoyable match. I'm not saying I wasn't going to enjoy the match. I really felt as if I was, but I didn't realize how strong of a match this was going to be. And again, some of the people that have come out of Ignite this weekend have said that was their match of the night. So it kind of gives you an idea of how good these two were in the ring together. Maybe we'll have another rematch down the road. That is up to, of course, the general manager, CJ Carter. So that's his choice. But CJ, I think the crowd would like a rematch. Just saying. Anyway, let's get on to the main event. Tommy Kyle, Tate Mayfairs. What a treat it was to have Tate Mayfairs at Boreham Wood. He was a great, great guy to be around on the day. And what another tremendous main event. Tommy Kyle, for me, and again, I'm going to say detriment. I wasn't aware just how good he was. And obviously, when we first started coming to Ignite, he was out injured. He made his return during during that time. And I don't know, he's just got better, better, and better. And the matches, to quote Sheamus, have been banger after banger after banger. And this match was just brilliant again. Tate Mayfairs, ex WWE, he's wrestled for AEW. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get the job done. He knows how to win a championship in Brit Rest. He's won enough of them. He's got another opportunity this coming in a couple of weeks at Progress. I think he won one the night before, even. He's got such a great pedigree. And he was working down Tommy a little bit. Tate was a bit cocky in this match. You know what he's like. Those that know him, flamboyant, charismatic guy. And he was, every time he was getting an opportunity, he was trying to get into Tommy's head by doing the posing and the boasting and whatever else. But this match was just absolutely tremendous. Tommy Kyle, again, another brilliant performance. And again, some of the feedback that we've had from the fans that have come to Ignite regularly, and I was talking to CJ about this yesterday, they were saying that Tommy Kyle was the best Ignite champion there's ever been. And I know Ignite's only been going 4 years, and for predominantly 3 of those years, you've had one major champion, which was Corey McRae. So for people to come out and say that Tommy Kyle was the best Ignite champion they've ever had, that is testament to him. And a tremendous match. He had the fans on his side, as he always does. And the absolute maverick, well, he thought he had the job done. Tate Mayfair's foot was on the ropes. The ref counted to 3. He called the match. He then turned around, saw Tate Mayfair's foot on the rope, and then restarted the match. And the crowd were like, whoa, hold on a minute here. What's going on? Why has the match been restarted? Normally the heels don't get this, Normally it's the other way around. So they tried to, it was an interesting finish at the start. And then, of course, that match did indeed restart. Tate nearly got the job done. But Tommy Kyle, with that tombstone, picks up the victory and does indeed retain the Ignite Wrestle Pro Championship. Taylor James did not decide to cash in his opportunity at this point. So time is really ticking now, Taylor, for you to cash in that gold. But what an incredible performance from Tommy Kyle. What an incredible show Ignite have done. And now we move on. May 18th, Shenley Road, the last stand. Championships will be on the line. Tommy Kyle will be defending. We know that. We don't know who the opponent is. We are hoping to bring you, or scheduled to bring you, a Luna versus Mark True for the Turnbuckle Championship. That is due, and if it doesn't happen, like I said, Mark will be stripped, and a Luna will take on somebody else. The Breakout division will return again, and potentially another triple threat match, if what I'm hearing is true. That will be on there. Will Corey McRae be back again for Ignite? Will Truman Roswell grace us with his presence? I hope not. But anyway, all of that and more, May 18th at Shenley Road. Your tickets are, front rows are nearly gone. Front rows are nearly gone already. Seconds is becoming limited. You need to get them early because they're going to go. There is no doubt. And when they're gone, they are gone. So get on 96 Eventbrite. Type in the last stand, Ignite Wrestle Pro. Just even type Ignite the last stand into Google and it will take you to the link on Eventbrite. Get it done now. Get your tickets now because it will sell out come what may. We will be back in May, Ignite. We will have CJ Carter back on to run it all back through with us the week of the show like we normally do. But keep it locked on Ignite Rest Pro on all social medias, Ignite Wrestle Pro on Instagram, I believe. HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle Podcast on Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok. any bloody where. Keep an eye on that. We've got some guests coming up as well. Of course, Gangrel, RVD, Scott Stein will be joining us soon. Independent Showcase will be back in a few weeks. We just finished up recording with a few of those guys. We've got another one. Tom Mercer actually will be one that will be joining us on Independent Showcase in March. So get ready to be watching that as well, and get ready to come back for us for all of our review shows. They'll be back as normal this week, so keep it locked on our channel. But until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.